So today our daily cancellation deals with one of the crucial issues facing our country and indeed all of Western civilization, and that would be emojis. Specifically, male-induced emojis, or MIE, as they are called in the medical field. Last night I was actually trending. I was trending nationwide on Twitter, and you can see the photographic evidence right here. Trending nationwide, and also hundreds and hundreds of infuriated private messages because of something I said about emojis. Now, you might say that this is a reflection of the fact that we live in the dumbest, most frivolous, and utterly decadent culture in world history, where even in the midst of crisis, a guy's tweet about emojis manages to grab hold of the country's attention. But I prefer to think that I was trending because I'm just a really important and brilliant guy. Tomato, tomato. You can interpret it however you like. Whatever the reason, here was the tweet that brought the world to a halt. I said, every day I see more grown adult men using emojis. There is no excuse for this. Emojis are for children and women. Do you think your great-grandfather would have been caught dead using emojis if the internet existed back then? Have some self-respect, for God's sake. Lest you doubt that I am kind and merciful, I did make this allowance. I said, GIFs are okay though, memes are a case-by-case basis. Okay? Now, so those are the rules. Now, before I elaborate here, let's go through some of the responses to this tweet about emojis. As I said, many very angry people. Let's take a look at a few. John Pavlovitz says, well, I hear my great-grandfather wasn't big on insecure dude bro misogynists, so he'd laugh at Matt Walsh for his transparent overcompensation and point out that his Christianity is short one Jesus. And then he'd call Matt a fragile, tiny clown. Tom Thoyne chimes in, Alexa, show me what the most pathetic, toxic masculinity looks like. Gibson Johns with a totally normal and sane response to a tweet about emojis, which has since been deleted, but it said, masculinity is a disease. Again, that was a response to what I said about emojis. James Fell, once again, very healthy, very normal. He says, I've never used emojis. As a professional writer, I don't like them, but instead prefer to challenge my vocabulary. That being said, this sanctimonious sack of otter snot. What a brainless, festering knuckle. Eat excrement and expire early, Matt. Okay, telling me to die because of what I said about emojis. Nothing overblown about that. Then Alan Zilberman comments with a bunch of poop emojis. David Lauer is one of many to leave the middle finger emoji. Kayla says, children and women? Ugh. Some sexism and toxic masculinity all rolled up into one. Seth Abramson is in on the action. He comments that this comment is stupid beyond belief, as well as misogynistic, goes without saying to anyone who reads my feed. But as a separate point, every comment I've ever received from a male Trumpist had an emoji in it, which makes Trumpist Matt Walsh saying this truly mind-blowing. Yes, I'm a Trumpist now, sure, okay. Jake Wilson with the middle finger emoji says, you managed to be homophobic and misogynistic in one joke. So it's homophobic to make fun of emojis now. Apparently emojis are an integral part of gay culture. According to Jake Wilson anyway, you learn something new every day. And then a lot of this kind of thing in the private messages, as you can see, telling me to eat excrement, calling me a bigoted against emojis. The pro-emoji guys seem to have a real thing about eating excrement. I don't know, I guess we can dig into the psychology behind that some other time. And then Mike Williams says, men are so fragile on this site. And the crazy thing is, he's apparently talking about me and not talking about all the grown men hysterically crying because I made fun of their little pictures. Now, I have a few things to say here, okay? First, I start with, and I don't often do this, as you know, but I start with an apology. After reading all of these responses and really getting a sense for how people are feeling about it, how it affected them, I'd like to apologize that I said emojis are for women and children. I should have mentioned that they're also for illiterates. So I apologize for that oversight. Second point, to the people who are angry that I lumped women and children together, all I have to say is this. If you're a woman and you want to be lumped in with children when the ship is sinking, giving you that VIP pass to the front of the lifeboat line, then you have to put up with being lumped together in these sorts of insulting generalizations. That's the price of admission. I think it's a pretty good deal, I have to say. I'd take it if the ship was sinking and someone said, okay, you can get off with the children, but that means we get to make fun of you later. Fine. Third point. The real reason, though, that I will allow emojis for children is that we cannot expect more sophisticated communication from them. You know, if you're at the age where you still read books with pictures, then it's okay to type with pictures too. I allow them for women because, along with the fact that they don't have to drown on the Titanic, they also are more aesthetically inclined. They like to make things look pretty and pleasing to the eye. Women are also more exuberant and emotional. Emojis are useful to this end, though only within reason. I will not allow them for men because men don't have any of these excuses. As men, we communicate our meaning plainly and without the frills. You shouldn't need the assistance of smiley faces. You should be able to convey your message by using words in the form of complete sentences. I think of emojis much the same way I think of ketchup. Ketchup, which is also, by the way, only for women and children. If you feel like your ketchup, like you need ketchup for your French fries, that only tells me that your French fries are not well seasoned. If you feel like you need emojis for your sentences, that only tells me that your sentences are not well seasoned. That is, you have not done a sufficient job of expressing yourself through the use of actual language. You have not the vocabulary to season your written expressions with language that creatively conveys your meaning. I think what we're witnessing in modern times is the collapse of language. The collapse. That's why people say, they need the emoji so that others will know their tone and their meaning when they text or email or post something on social media. They don't have the ability to get their point across in an effective way, so they need little signs, little drawings that essentially say, me happy, me like. That's what every smiley face emoji says, by the way. That to translate it into language, it would be, me happy, or me sad, or me laughing, you funny. Emojis are quite literally the language of the caveman. In fact, many of the responses to my point cited in defense of emojis cave paintings. Responses like this, with a photo of some cave paintings, which is supposed to prove that emojis are an acceptable form of communication for modern civilized man. But this is like trying to dispel the idea that pop music is degenerate by arguing that they play it in strip clubs. Your argument against my point actually illustrates my point precisely. Yes, prehistoric man, before the invention of sophisticated written language, did use a form of emoji when they were scrawling messages on the wall of a cave. But we should no more seek to emulate the caveman's communication style than his medical practices or his hygiene routine. We have graduated beyond those crude forms. A return to them is not a good sign. In this case, with writing and language, it's a sign that people are losing their ability to convey meaning through the written word. That is not a positive development. And so, emojis are canceled. All men who use them are canceled. Everyone who jumped on the Twitter dog pile is canceled. Or to express this in a way you'll understand, you bad, you stupid, you not right good, you canceled. I hope that clarifies things. Thank you for tuning into the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the entire country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and a subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.